This is a certificate from Ra Uru Hu, who certified me, let's see, on October 3rd, 1996 in Taos, New Mexico. I think there was 5 people perhaps when that happened, and these are fairly rare. It's fading, but it's still here.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what's behind you?
This is the Human Design Library at the current state that it's in. I'm trying to get back together, and I have hundreds of hours of course material that I could still edit, that I was really looking forward to getting back to working on. So that's what you're looking at. It's a bit of a mess at the moment, but that's because I was very busy. All recording from Ra, as well as some from Martin Grassinger in Europe, as well as the Rave Life Sciences material is all there about the dream raves and rave medicine. And good Lord, I don't even know all the things that are covered. This is the Sedona courses, this is the Biversity courses, the Sedona More courses, Biversity, Vienna, I mean all over the world with Ra. And it was quite a ride and an experience, shall we say. Both horrifying and inspiring at the same time. You know, I rarely traveled with him. I generally ended up meeting him where he was because most of in Europe, of course, he was living in Europe, so I got on a plane and crossed the pond. And the rest of the time, I had already arrived somewhere. The one time, I lived in 3 different houses with Ron. I lived with him in Taos for a short while. I lived with him in Sedona for quite a bit, and I lived with him in Europe quite often. And also, well, it was actually 4 because in Gießen, Germany as well. He had a place in Gießen because he was staying close to Jürgen for a while. And I lived with him and Jürgen at that place. I spent a lot of time with the great people. It was a privilege and a burden. Oh, Benjamin, what are we going to do? So many things, huh? Greetings, Earthlings. Tom Pfeiffer here in Boulder, Colorado with my good friend Benjamin Torre. And just wanted to give you a little bit of who I am. I told you, Tom Pfeiffer, and I'm a 6'2" manifesting generator born on the cross of migration. And I have migrated quite a lot. And today I'm here with Benjamin to discuss a little bit about the human design story, how I got involved in it. It was quite remarkable how I got involved in it. It found me. I did not find it. I wasn't looking for it any more than Ra was looking for the experience he had with it. And as a sidebar, I know that Ra was not the only person to get human design. He was the person that was strong enough to handle the experience and to bring it through. And so Brigitte and I, my wife of 37 years, we were in the herb business, and she was an herbalist, and she got a call one day from a fellow by the name of Chaitanya. He was down in Taos, New Mexico. And Chaitanya wanted to come up here, and the way it was presented to me was that he was an astrologer and wanted to put on some kind of a program in Boulder, and he got our name from Larry Hirschman, who was a mutual friend who was also a gardener, herbalist type of being. And so I said, well, you know, I'd be happy to sit and visit with the fella. You know, I like breakfast at Lucille's, so we'll have breakfast at Lucille's with him and tell him what we need to tell him, and he can do whatever it is he wants to do. I did not know what human design was, and it wasn't presented to me as human design, but breakfast at Lucille's. Okay, so I get there, and this gentleman shows up. He's very Swiss, strong accent, remarkable character. And we did our thing, and we had our breakfast. And so when we did what we were doing, I said, so you're an astrologer, right? He said, no, I'm not an astrologer. I do something called human design, and there's no way I would ever be able to explain it to you, but I could give you an experience with you that would be impactful. I said, okay, well, carry on. And so he pulls out these charts, which are rather interesting looking things. I had this deja vu experience when I saw that. I thought, boy, that looks familiar. I'd never seen anything like it, but it just looked familiar. It was like looking in the mirror for me. And so he pulls out Brigitte's chart, and he starts talking about Brigitte as if he'd known her for the last 25 years. and we just met. And I say, okay, well, my wife is a celebrity. Her life is very public. She likes all that. She's a 4'6". You know, it's all about the network. It's all about the influence that she can have on other people. I'm a 6'2". I could care less about any of that stuff, okay? But at any rate, I said, okay, so that's good, but I'm not impressed. Brigitte is a celebrity. Then he pulls my chart out. I'm not a celebrity. I'm a hermit, okay? I was astonished. He talked to me in the same way as he had known me for 25 years, which he hadn't. Then he pulls out this composite between the two of us and starts talking about our relationship as if he had lived in it with us for the last couple of decades. It's got my attention, okay? So I'm saying, okay, all right, this is very interesting. You've got my attention. He says, well, you know, I got to go. I really need to get back. I've got a lot to do. So, okay, fine. I just blew it off as another New Age thing, and so what? A year later, I pick up the Boulder Weekly, and there's this article in it. There's an advertisement in there about Ra Uru Hu coming to Boulder, Colorado to do an introductory lecture on Friday night for free at one of the places we told him to go, which was Fisk Planetarium here. It's a beautiful backdrop for cosmic events, and that's where he chose to be. So I say, okay, so I'm going to go and listen to this guy and see what he's got to say, because I thought, well, I'll be damned. You know? I'd forgotten about it for a year or so. So I went. It was a 90-minute discourse from Ra. I was hooked instantaneously. I don't know what this is, but I know that this man knows what it is, and I'd like to have some sense of how he knows this and what it is about. I was hooked. You know, 6'2", we're looking at the future. I said, there's something about this that is prophetic, that is something about this that is coming. I want to be a part of this. See? You know, separate from the call, unless it was a good call. I just recognized, without knowing anything about it or even what it was, that this was a call worthy of going. So I went, listened to him, and that, like all the rest of the people, I was standing in line waiting for my turn to approach this gentleman about the possibility for a reading. And so my first question my first statement to him was, you really got my attention. And he just looked at me, he didn't say anything. And I said, so, okay, so what do you charge for a reading and how does this work? And he said, well, I have a room in the hotel here, and you show up at the room and you bring $200 US and I'll do your foundation reading for you. And my immediate comment, one ego to another, was you can get a lot of readings in this town for $200. He said, go get them. Setting the drag on the reel, right? So I said, okay, you've got me, the hook's in the mouth, I'm coming, I'll pay the money. So when I went there, that's how I got involved, okay? And then the experience itself, when I got there, I put the $200 down, and he has this little junky cassette recorder, and he presses play on the recorder. I go, oh boy, this is going to be great. So at any rate, he starts talking, and he's talking for about 5 minutes, and when I start talking, and when I start talking, he stops talking. And this went on 3 times, and he finally jumped up, he slammed his hands on the desk and said, you complained about the cost of the reading, and now you're going to go home and listen to the sound of your own voice? Shut the fuck up! I wanted to hit him. I really did. I thought, you arrogant bastard, right? This is another story for another time about arrogant bastards. But at any rate, I've been thanking him for shutting me up ever since. I was so grateful that I did not pay $200 to listen to my own voice. I know what it says. I know what it sounds like. I didn't need to hear that. It's very interesting. It defined right away the relationship I was going to have with this guy, ego to ego.